Do not be thrown off or fooled by this first comparison picture. I just had to get that out there. This is Phil Heath, Dr. Phil, as I like to call him, and Patrick Moore, both of their Mr. Olympia debuts. Now, the reason why I said that to begin the video, this is a screenshot of Patrick Moore. It distorts his size. He's bending at the knees also. He's actually taller than one Phil Heath. So anyway, I just like to begin it with a front relaxed, if at all possible. And for some reason, there's not a picture on the internet of Patrick Moore hitting this position. Either way, I'm sure I'm boring you guys with that explanation. Let's dive into the muscularity round. Without further ado, either way, this is an awesome pose for Phil Heath earlier on in his career. Look at his arms. Pound for pound or inch for inch. His arms are probably the biggest that they've ever been. Just tremendous waistline as well. Patrick Moore, he usually has a bigger set of legs and arms when you compare him with another gentleman from these day and age. But Phil Heath, look at his limbs. No wonder. Look at the potential this man had in his debut. Just fantastic. But Patrick Moore is no slouch. Big arms. Doesn't quite have the sharp graininess of Phil Heath in the tricep, biceps, or in the forearms as well. A little bit long are the limbs of Patrick Moore. So a more perfect physique, I would say, as far as the structure is concerned for Phil. I would give him the front double bi. Front lat, I would give this one to Patrick Moore. Even though that quality of the physique of the doctor is very fantastic indeed. Sorry, forgot my tongue in customs. I forgot my tongue. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I don't like to, if I make a mistake, that's it. Hope you enjoy the mistakes. Sometimes, that's a favorite part. Either way, the structure, I believe, of Patrick Moore would get an edge in a pose like this because the limbs are kind of secondary. You're looking at the lats themselves. And man, oh man, is he filled out to a T. These have to be two of the best Olympia debuts of all time. Side developments. The judges would give this one to Phil. I would give this one to Patrick Moore. I like that 70s bow look of the chest, how it bows down, the swoop. That's what I look for. But the judges that are a little less, or a little more lenient on that, less particular on that aspect, would give this one to Phil. Look at the arms. Look closely. The muscle separation is awesome on Patrick Moore, but that hard crispness of Phil Heath, the vascularity, the hardness, much better in that aspect. And look at the legs. He is a little horse for sure. He's not that little. He's close to the same height. Patrick Moore, not quite 6 feet. I don't think. I think he's 5'11". Phil Heath, 5'9", maybe even more. So it's not that much of a difference, I don't think, for the height of these two. But like I said, the judges would probably give this one to Philip. Anyway, Philip, as I just called him, is definitely going to get an edge in the side shots. It's those arms. Whenever the limbs come into play more, it goes to the doctor. But when you put the structure, just the structure alone, I think maybe Patrick would have it. But look at those triceps. This is a debut. Imagine being back in 2008. That would be awesome. That would be an awesome time. I mean, you have Phil Heath debuting. Look at this physique. And you have Dexter Jackson upsetting the champion. What an awesome time for bodybuilding, indeed. The hoo-ha position, as I like to call it. If you didn't know that, that's what I call it, because they're like going hoo-ha. Either way, the structure, little bit gangly, I have to say, for Patrick Moore. You're really showing the arms, I think, in this. Small waist, but look at Philip whenever that tricep comes into play. But that chest, this is a cross between a side chest and a side tricep, in my opinion. So I'm looking at the chest as well. Pat looks good. Not a mandatory shot, neither is this. But I always like to take a look at the Christmas trees. Look at the conditioning of Phil. and the lower end. This is a perfect lower body. Glutes, calves even. Whoo! They nailed a different type of Christmas tree here. Isn't it nice to have all these pictures? Kudos to all the photographers that do their job. I hope they're getting paid very well. They should be. Pat, he brought his conditioning. Phil brought the conditioning as well as some thickness. Rear lat spread. It's not a straight-on shot for Phil, but you can plainly see he is a lot thicker. He has a lot better potential, I think, to work with. Better conditioning, too, in the glutes and hamstrings. But Patrick Moore, I think he's hitting the shot a lot better. As is, it looks bigger, more presentful. But like I said, the conditioning, glutes, hamstrings, even in the calves, I would give that all to Philip. But Pat is doing his job here. He's maxing out his structure with the thick muscle that he has. I mean, looks good. Rear double bicep. Philip is taking over. Definitely a better back development. Not as good as a shot for Patrick Moore, but I mean my soul. Phil Heath, world class. From the calves to the quads. Well, not the quads, but the glutes, hamstrings, lower back, everything. This is just a picture perfect. Like I said earlier, guys, imagine watching the 2008 Mr.Olympia live and seeing this debuting creature. A newer, better Dexter Jackson, perhaps. Definitely getting a point here. Ab and thigh. This is a debatable one. Structurally, I have to say, Patrick Moore, just a little gangly to compete with Phil Heath, I think. Because Phil, he's going to have the same conditioning, maybe even better. And bigger muscles to boot. To boat. All right, that's it. No more of the to boot jokes. I would still give an edge to Patrick Moore just because of his abs themselves. Most muscular, a Phil Heath pose. It's the arms, guys. Whenever you put the limbs into play, it's going to go to Phil Heath. He just dwarfs Patrick Moore in that aspect. The superior clavicle width, the chest development, of course, goes to Patrick Moore. This just looks like too strong of a pose for Phil. And one thing I neglected to mention through this whole entire competition, Phil Heath, well, maybe I did in the front double bi, but the forearms. Even from a shot like this, guys, look at the forearm difference. Phil has such an awesome set of calves and forearms. And in my opinion, that makes a champion. After Dorian Yates, we kind of lost that. I mean, Ronnie Coleman, he was never the best in that aspect. Another most muscular here. And this, I think, solidifies the winner of this one. And I'm sure you guys all know who I believe had a better Mr.Olympia debut between Phil Heath or Patrick Moore. And the answer is Phil Heath, the doctor. He placed third as well. What did Patrick Moore place? 10th? Anyway, I should have did my homework on that one. Phil Heath, his debut, 2008. What an awesome debut it was. Placed third, went on to win the title. That could be an omen for Hattie Shupin. Only Lee Haney did that. Placed third on his debut. Not too many guys did that, so Hattie Shupin. Anyway, it's not about Hattie. It's about Phil Heath. Hope you guys enjoyed this comparison. Hit thumbs up if you did. And subscribe to the channel. Find me on Instagram as well. My Instagram number is actually getting up there a little bit. Have a great day, guys.